And Africa needs to decolonize ourselves from the British and the Western culture. These parades and stuff are Western stuff, right? They were Western stuff. We would do our derbers and do our own thing in our villages and in our towns and stuff like that. It makes absolutely no sense. If the Independence Day or that Independence Day, you are cutting a sword for a certain project, you are, putting some funds into certain project, you are putting an independence fund where every year you pump a certain amount of money to go help farmers or help the youth or help something. So that people, when you set up that fund, where we put all the money we spend doing Independence Day, we put that money into a fund where the youth can go and access that fund for business. We will never forget Independence Day in our life.
Exactly.
And Nkrumah's birthday, we do holiday. This one's birthday, we do a holiday. Ghanaians are just finding any time and any opportunity to go on a holiday. Would you imagine how much money you lose when you go on a holiday?
Because on my channel, I always talk about issues that has to do with Africa, topics that involve Africa. And in this episode, I'm going to discuss with you guys about something really incredible a president did, which I think is very laudable, which you need all the applause. We need to cheer out, because I think in the whole of our history, I don't think any African president have ever done this. They say we are independent, right? We claim to be independent. And every year, most African countries celebrate their independence, which marks the day they got out of colonialism with their colonial masters and all that they gained. But personally, I still don't think Africa is still independent. And today's episode, we are going to talk about the Tanzanian president who called off their independence celebration. She did something off. And anyway, let me know in the comment section, do you think African countries are really independent, and should we continue to celebrate our Independence Day? I have a street interview on that. I'll share the link in the description box below, or put it up in the corner somewhere here, and click and watch.
Tanzania is set to celebrate 61 years of independence without the usual pomp and fanfare associated with the day. According to President Samia Suluhu Hassan, the almost $450,000 set aside for festivities is to be diverted to the education sector. The funds are earmarked for the construction of 8 dormitories for special needs children in various parts of the country. Authorities say the country's Independence Day will be instead marked by having public dialogues on development.
I don't see the essence of we celebrating Independence Day. I know a lot of people out there might not agree with me. Yes, that's my opinion. Because how can we celebrate independence? Someone will say, oh, because it's a day we remember the day which we got our freedom. But yet still, the money we spend on that day alone can be used in other things. Here in Ghana, we have a lot of schools that are still under trees. We need a lot of classrooms. There are people in the hospital, there are less beds, a whole lot of issues. So if that huge money that will be spent on the celebration is being channeled to other areas that can profit and help the citizens of the country, why not? But before we continue this, I want you to introduce yourself. I know you are doing something great for Africa as well. So you don't know.
Yeah, my name is Kwesi Bosia-Kontri. I am the CEO of Casting Africa. I'm a film tech entrepreneur. I'm a tech entrepreneur, right? But I'm more focused in the film industry as well, and also a very passionate business strategist. I love business.
I know. But what do you do exactly at Casting Africa?
So Casting Africa, basically what I'm doing is that we are generally building apps that ease some of the operations in our industries. So the first one is Casting Africa, which is connecting actors and models to content creators globally, right? And so far we have close to about 2,000 actors on our platform. In our first 2 years, actors were paid out almost about $100,000. The business is going wide. And the point is that a lot of content creators are looking for actors for a job, but it's hard. And talent are looking for a job, but they can't find them. So the only easy thing is just to bring them together so that they find each other. And that's what we are doing at Casting Africa.
I'll find more time, bring him on board to tell us more, since it has something to do with Africa. Talk about it.
Yeah, definitely.
First of all, what do you think about this move by the Tanzanian president? I think the money involved is $445,000. Which is allocated to the country's 61st Independence Day event, which will be used to build 8 dormitories in primary schools around the country.
I think it's splendid and very commendable, because like you were saying in the beginning, I don't know what independence was a celebration, right? I don't think Africa is, African countries are still independent to celebrate independence, right? Our dependence on the Western is even worse than when we were colonized, right? So I don't know which independence we are celebrating. celebrating because you still owe them billions of debt. Billions of debt. So I don't know what independence you're celebrating. Besides, you know, the event has outlived its purpose. And why do we still keep throwing money at an event which serves us no? The fact that we are independent, what does it do for us right now as a people? What is the relevance of it to, you know, for us as a people now? People can still learn in school that we got independence in 1957. Fine. But why do we go on and spend millions of cedis? During the Ghana 60, almost 100 million Ghana cedis was spent on celebration for 1 year. What are we celebrating? For what? For what? Of what relevance did Ghana at independence? What is one or two things that we can point that Ghana at 60 independence celebration brought us as a people?
Some will say, oh, at least the younger generation or the younger ones coming will witness the celebration and also will still remember the history that is
What do we do during our independence?
We go to independence.
We just put children under the sun and just let them faint. What sense is in this? It makes absolutely no sense. If the Independence Day or that Independence Day, you are cutting a sword for a certain project, you are, you know, putting some funds into certain project, you are putting an independence fund where every year you pump a certain amount of money to go help farmers or help the youth or help something. So that people, when you set up that fund, where we put all the monies we spend during Independence Day, we put that money into a fund where the youth can go and access that fund for business. We will never forget Independence Day in our life.
Exactly.
We will remember why Nkrumah died. Independence will be of more value for us having a fund representing it than us spending money, you know, having useless, you know, parades that is of absolutely no relevance.
So will you say the Tanzanian president did a good job by using the $445,000?
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Into building 8 dormitories in primary schools.
These children will never forget. They will remember that during the Independence Day of our nation, these dormitories were built for us. These dormitories were constructed for us, and it brought us some ease in our lives. Right? It is the best move, and Africa needs to decolonize ourselves from the British and the Western culture. These parades and stuff are Western stuff, right? They were Western stuff. We will do our derbers and do our own thing in our villages and in our towns and stuff like that. I don't see people doing derba for Asante people doing derba for Prem II every year. I don't see them doing derba for Okofanochi every year. But there's people who have been instrumental in their in the setting up of the kingdom. We didn't have to have a parade or a birthday celebration. And Nkrumah's birthday we do holiday. This one's birthday we do a holiday. Ghanaians are just finding any time and any opportunity to go on a holiday.
Do you think this kind of holidays and one way or the other has a toll on the economy?
Do you know how much money you lose when you go on holiday?
Because that holidays, there's no production.
The economy comes to a standstill. Economy comes to a standstill on holidays. Why do you think the whites they run to 247 economies, 24/7 economies? We run to 12 hours economies. We go to work in the morning, come back in the evening. We all go to sleep. Even if you go outside right now, shops are closed. It's just 9 o'clock.
But for them, they run midnight.
Throughout. There are Lebanese shops in Ghana here that run 24/7.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Lebanese shops that open on Sundays. And you want to compete with them.
Do you think African leaders should stop celebrating Independence Day, and why?
They should set up an Independence Day fund or Independence Fund. Put all the monies into those funds. Let the small SMEs, startup companies, SMEs in the country access schools and whatever, access those funds. So if Ghana, we are going to be spending maybe 10 million cedis on our Independence Day, put into the fund. Let SMEs and other people go access that fund.
Use it for business.
And they will never forget independence. And that is true independence.
Wow. All right. So guys, let me know in the comment section, do you think we should continue to celebrate our Independence Day with other African country, and does it have any benefit to the African country in question? And also, please let me know what you think about this topic of what the Tanzanian president did. What do you think about it? But my final question to you, what's the way forward for Africa?
Africa needs to sit down, accept its reality, that in as much as we think we have liberated ourselves from colonialism or colonial rule, we are very much attached and dependent on their system. And so we need to find a way to detach ourselves from them and so far. Listen,
Is it possible?
It's possible. We will suffer for the first 10 years. If we detach ourselves, we will suffer for the first 10 years. It will be tough.
Because they will fight us.
Not just fight us, but the mentality that we need to deal with in our country. It will take a while. But trust me, in 10 years' time, when we have our own factories, when we have our own farms, when we have our own product, and when we've come to appreciate, ourselves, we will now understand the power of being self-sufficient. Look at Ukraine and Russia war. Ukraine and Russia started fighting, and the whole world goes into chaos. What's the size of Ukraine and what's the size of Russia? That these two people just start fighting, and the entire world comes down.
Wow.
You understand? And that explains the level of dependency. A small country, which Ghana is bigger than, goes into war, and because of that, we don't have a fertilizer to produce food. And because of that, our farms, we can't get produce. We cannot bring produce to the market. It makes no sense. Our level of dependency on the Western world is too much. Look at our debt to GDP ratio. Crazy. Now they've instituted, bro. Now they've instituted this new structure to debt restructure, and people are going to lose their money. People's money are going to be devalued over the next 10, 15 years. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Do you think Africa one day will be free?
Bro, that's what I'm saying, that if we're going to be free, we need leaders who will come down, just like Nkrumah was doing, come together and say, hey, listen, we need to all Africans need to come to a standstill. Agree that we are going to suffer for the next 10 years, but liberate ourselves and be self-sufficient going forward.
And trade within ourselves.
You understand? Even if the whole Africa begin to, use one currency, all of us, we agree to use one currency, right? Strengthen our economies. Strengthen our economy. Because if we use one currency, the reason why the dollar is huge is because they have all of these states using one big currency. We are Africa. How many are we? Small nations, and everybody has their own, currencies. And all the currencies are all weak. All of them. What is the sense in having a whole lot of weak currencies when you can have one?
But the bigger question I always ask, and will continue asking, is: do we see Africa coming?
Yeah, Africa coming together. Recently that they did the ACCRA and all of these things that they're trying to do, establish the trade union. But yes, they're coming together. But I hope and pray that it is just not, a cover up, just to, like we are seeing. If we want to be serious about progress in Africa, we need to be serious and talk the serious matters. We need to just stop playing around. Right? Let's suffer. Hey, let's stop building bridges unnecessarily. Let's focus our small monies that we bring. I think this recent budget, they are cutting away a lot of the expenditure budget, almost about 2 billion or so. Right? And you could have done this all of these years. So all of these years, people could have cut away project funding. And stop building useless, affordable homes in bushes, and bringing in drone nonsense that delivering medicines to people. That makes no sense.
Zipline. Crazy. Thank you so much for having you guys. Thank you. Your final words to people watching.
Yeah, I think the youth should speak up on. The youth are spending so much time on TikTok and messing around and fooling around, whilst these old men are just destroying our future. It's enough with the dancing and shaking bottles and doing stupid narrations on TikTok. Begin to use your voice and your platforms to make a change. Speak the truth, right? And push for change. Push for change. That is why these platforms are available. It makes no sense when you have audience and the only thing you do is shake your bottles and please.
But in China, I've heard that in China, TikTok, they've designed the algorithm in such a way that
they created TikTok.
Yes,
they created TikTok.
Yes.
They own TikTok.
So those who are into tech, doing those kind of things are more rewarded.
The algorithm is promoting sense. It's promoting science. It's promoting innovation.
Innovation and stuff.
Whilst here, the algorithm is promoting comedy. Entertainment, comedy and skits. I'm not saying those who are doing skits and everything is not good.
But the full
comedy and dancing and challenges. Challenges that I don't. Well,
thank you so much.
Maybe I'm old school, but yeah.
Thank you so much, Weezy, for having me on my channel.
Bro.
And
welcome,
you guys, as I've promised, I'll bring him back to tell us more about his project that he's doing for Africa. He's really doing great, and Charlie, these are the people we need in the system to champion stuff that will affect the whole of Africa. Thank you so much. My name is Niiayi, aka Ganubi. Until then, I see you on my next episode. Hola, peace out.